In 1969, Disney created the lovable, memorable, goofy car named Herbie. All it wanted was to have fun with a good owner, cheer people up, and go into crazy races. The car could do almost anything. It's basically the precursor of Knight Rider. The first film was a huge success, spawning 3 sequels through the 70s, featuring new drivers and crazy stories with the car. The franchise eventually lost steam by the time the 80s came around, and one final theatrical installment so far was made in 2005 starring Lindsay Lohan. It's very different in style to the original films, but I'm not here to talk about that one. I'm here to talk about the TV movie The Love Bug starring Bruce Campbell. In 1997, during Disney's original television movie era, they had produced a follow-up movie that is part remake and sequel of the first 4 Herbie films. For whatever reason, Herbie Fully Loaded ignores this entry, and even Disney themselves ignores the film. It came out in 1997, and it only had one official release on VHS in 2001. Never got put on DVD, and currently is not on Disney+. It's a very odd situation. The first thing you think of, oh wow, if it's not anywhere, was it that bad? No, it is a made-for-TV movie. It doesn't have high production, but it's a better continuation of the franchise than Herbie Fully Loaded was. They even got Dean Jones to narrate and guest in the TV movie as Jim Douglas.
I was a friend of Herbie's. I think we need to talk.
I did say this was part remake, part sequel. They do reuse the first film's title, which is probably what causes the confusion, and what was redone was Herbie trying to bring the group together. Besides those 2 main points, the movie does tell a new story. It doesn't conflict with the past films. I mean, you always ask the question on how Herbie ends up with new owners, but that's been going on since the beginning. This one's a bit different though. You know, Herbie is usually happy, fun movies. The Love Bug goes in a deeper direction. Herbie, unfortunately, is found and bought by Simon Pierce Moore III. He's probably seen what Herbie's done over the years, wanted that fame, and he didn't get it. He treats the car crappy,
You little piece of worthless junk!
eventually making Herbie come last in his final race, where Moore tossed him for scrap. Moore is basically like a discount Lex Luthor. He even has a sidekick named Rupert.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it just like that.
He's a fine antagonist for the movie. You want the guy gone, he gets on your nerves, and knows how to push everyone's buttons.
Take it to the junkyard!
Herbie's in a pretty poor shape at this point. It's a 30-plus-year-old car. The car also has a parallel story with the movie's lead, Hank Cooper. It's different seeing Bruce Campbell do this type of film. It is a comedy movie, but they needed an actor that could do more than just be funny. Bruce is really good at snarky, then turning 180 to be serious.
Well, maybe now's a good time to stop giving me stuff.
The Cooper character bounces around in emotions all over the place. Sometimes he feels like a kid whining.
Walters? Oh, come on. Rudy Walters.
But a lot of times the world's screwed him over. Hank's been working at a garage for a few years now, and he's been slacking off, making mistakes, forgetting to finish jobs, really pissing off his boss, Chuck. It also doesn't help his weird friend Roddy is around, getting everyone annoyed.
Roddy here. Now, he's a freeloader. I know that, and I accept it in him.
He's trying to lighten the mood or help, and it never works out the way he wants. Now, Hank's not a slacker. You see, he wants to do his job. He loves cars, but things in his life got messed up. He's entered races in the past, lost them all. So he's just working at the garage, losing interest. He's slowly falling to pieces. Chuck, his boss, I think got underutilized. He's the serious guy. He starts the story and does get some funny moments, but it's overall little.
Go, Herbie! Go! They're all gonna die.
He needed a couple of more scenes with Hank. I really like Campbell and Williams acting together. They were much like father and son.
I mean, I really think this could be something someday.
Chuck doesn't want to see him screw up, but he's so tired of him. Hank crossed the line and screwed up repair orders. So in order to make up with the losses he caused, forced Hank to enter a race. If he said no, Chuck would fire him.
Oh, I get it. This is one of those tough love things.
This is how Herbie and Hank meet. The whole purpose of the race is to see who's the best mechanic, taking broken down cars, getting them to work, and finish a race on the fly. But Roddy saw something with Herbie. No one picked the car, so Hank had no choice but to take Herbie. Of course, who's also at the race? Simon. This guy's messed up. The only reason why he came was to see his former car get pulverized. Bad guy, down pat. Not to mention, Hank's former girlfriend Alex is also at the race reporting on it. So Hank is going back and forth, dealing with his problems, trying to get Herbie to move. No one has any faith in the car except Roddy. You can guess what happens. Herbie was happy that someone cared again, blasted through the race, and won. Everyone's shocked. Moore and Alex believe Hank cheated somehow, even though he was on the racetrack the whole time. Chuck's going insane. Oh my God, Hank's just pulled off the impossible. This is going to help my job. Everyone's happy except Moore, and he wants to figure out how Hank did it. This part of the film is probably the most controversial to Herbie fans. Some people I easily see not liking that they answered this question. I thought it was an okay explanation. One of the things you think about with Herbie is how is he alive? Most movies that do this usually show how it happens. Johnny Five in Short Circuit became alive thanks to a lightning strike. The Love Bug answered this. Herbie basically absorbed the love of the car's original designer, that strong emotion he had towards his wife who had recently passed away. Her picture frame had fallen into the vat that produced Herbie's parts. This strong emotion brought the car to life. I know some people might get confused here. I remember a friend of mine thought the car had taken the soul of the inventor's wife, reincarnating her. That's not the case. It works within the story. It gives a reason why Herbie likes to focus on bringing people together, especially people who love each other, but we do lose the mystery. Now Moore, thanks to the original inventor telling him the secret, wants him to do it again and build Simon his own car. This feels awfully familiar. Instead of love, Simon puts in hatred. While all this hell is going on, Hank has gotten a big head. He won this thing, tries to milk it, ignores Roddy telling him the car's alive.
Oh, I see. So I'm just a bystander, and the car's doing me favors.
I still get kind of confused here. Alex and Hank don't buy any of this nonsense, but Herbie isn't helping because he's staying quiet. If you pictured Herbie as a pet dog, it really shows in this movie. So you have Hank pissed off at the car taking center stage. Alex is trying to see if Hank's changed. They're both trying to get that to work.
Everyone deserves a second chance. Of course, you're on your fifth or sixth, but hey, who's counting?
Roddy brings the car to the show, trying hard to show Herbie's alive, give him a chance. This annoys Hank. He storms off, so this makes Herbie go and try to look for Hank.
Nobody would believe I made the car do what it did because he did it.
Bringing us to probably the most shocking Herbie moment done. Simon's evil car, now alive, kills Herbie. It took this to convince everyone Herbie was alive.
What did I do to you?
Of course it's a car. Why not just rebuild him, right? It's not that simple.
We have to reshape these actual parts?
They go as far as having a funeral for Herbie, which brings the return of Jim Douglas. His part in the movie is small, but I think how they used him was perfect. Jim's with Herbie right from the beginning. He knows how that car thinks and feels. For people who grew up with the films, they probably would have liked if Jim had done more, but objectively, he was still an important piece to this. Act 3 is a bit on the fast side. Some characters do a 180 a little too quick for my taste. For the final race / battle between Horace and Herbie, they do some new things. No water bouncing, but Simon of course has to cheat. Installs 3 different mods. The first is a wheel weapon puncturing Herbie's tire. Mod 2 is a grenade launcher. And 3 is a laser that cuts Herbie in half. Not like in the first film, vertically cuts him in half. It's nice seeing the actors doing their own stunts in the car, but you can see they're not moving fast. Thanks to cutting him in half, Herbie beats Horace. Hank now owns both cars since they bet the cars on whoever wins. But the ending was kind of dumb. Horace was pissed off at not beating Herbie, so he tries to ram Herbie. The editing was really bad. Everything was slow. Hank and everyone had to push Herbie out of the way. It takes like 30 seconds to drive 20 feet. I was like, why are they pushing Herbie? Herbie can drive himself? This then makes Horace look really stupid. So he totally misses Herbie. He keeps driving, flies off a cliff, and blows up. At first I had thought the car wanted to commit suicide. I'm like, oh wow, Disney, okay. But no, if you watch the sequence, you can see Horace getting sad as he hits the floor. Why did this happen? Was it so hard to have the two pieces bolt, Hank and the others dive out of the way, and have Horace not have enough time to stop? Anyway, the way Horace blows up, it was like he went into hell. Fire, evil music, evil laugh. Okay. That's one way to deal with the car? So we get the obligatory happy ending. Hank and Alex, after this crazy situation, kiss and make up, and Alex gets to publish this unbelievable story in her magazine. Besides the stupid car death and Chuck being underused, it's a fun movie. I liked all the main characters. Roddy could get on your nerves at the start, and a lot of his looking at the universe type of viewpoint goes overboard. Alex and Hank, they do have a journey. He has to prove himself, not just to Alex, to everyone.
So what are we gonna do now?
I have no idea.
They have good back and forths. Hank's an idiot here. Alex is an idiot over there. The villains, fine. Played them over the top, but it works for the film.
This is where we say ciao.
When you want to hate him, you hate him. Simon didn't wear out his welcome. Jim Douglas's cameo, I think, worked great. Seeing him go behind the wheel of Herbie, even for that small little moment, yeah, that's him meeting his old friend. Even the music Shirley Walker did up for the movie, she's always good at transitioning between eerie, dark, and bombastic. I don't understand why this was taken out of continuity. There's no reason to. The film ends much like the first one. Alex and Hank get presumably married off screen. Just have Herbie move on. Going from the love bug to Herbie fully loaded. There's no real conflict there. I hope something comes out of this video so people remember this movie exists so we can see it released again. It belongs with the Herbie franchise just as much as the other films. Plus, it has Bruce Campbell.
I'm finished.
Give it a watch if you can. Thanks for checking out the review. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you remember a movie or a show that's long been forgotten, good or bad, leave it as a suggestion below. I'm always on the lookout for obscured stuff.